Hello and welcome to Furious Driving, and today we're going to do the review slightly differently because I'm doing this one slightly in a hurry compared to usual, and this is a 1989 Peugeot 205 GT, which is a little unusual because basically think of this as like a GTI without the I, so a little unusual I would say, but still lots of fun. And it's currently for sale at Stone Cold Classics, so check out their website for more details. So now a quick word from our sponsors, and then on with the review. Oh, like and subscribe. Furious Driving, proud to be supported by Bidding Classics, the online classic car marketplace with more cars added every week. Diamond Bright, protecting, cleaning and caring for the Furious fleet and for yours with 10% off using code FD10. And Lancaster Insurance cover the Furious fleet. They are one of the biggest specialist insurers in the UK, covering all areas of vintage to modern classic cars and motorbikes. Follow the links in the description below. So I've covered 205s a couple of times on the channel before. We've had a convertible CJ and we've had one of the really comfy special editions. We've not done a really sporty one though, and this is kind of what this is. It's not a full fat GTI, but it's not far off. Under that stubby little bonnet in front of me is a 1.4 litre carbureted 4-cylinder petrol. And the thing just feels like an absolute go-kart. A go-kart married to a rally car. It's huge fun in a tiny, tiny package. And it's a package I think most people have basically forgotten exists. Here's some voiceover to explain the spec and the model years. The 205 GT was available from launch in 1983. It was fitted with a 1360cc TU engine, which came with a twin-choke carburetor, a hot camshaft and a close-ratio gearbox. It made 79 horsepower and 110 Nm of torque, but only weighs 810 kilos, so it feels like a lot more, and will do 0 to 60 in 9.3 seconds and reach 106 miles per hour. For comparison, the 1.6 GTI had a 0 to 60 of 8.4 and a top speed of 122 from its 104 bhp 1.6 litre. Under the car, the suspension was 42% stiffer at the front, but only 6% stiffer at the rear, and hidden behind its 13-inch wheels are disc brakes at the front and drums at the back. Okay, so hopefully that all made sense. Now this thing is an absolute riot on the road. It's typical 205 nimble, fun French handling. The suspension is quite soft, so it does lean through a corner, but the grip is just immense and it fills you with so much instant confidence to throw the thing around the corner. The steering is loaded with feedback, so it just feels great chucking it through those corners, and you just know exactly what the car's doing. Everything is fun. This gearbox, 5-speed manual, just snicks through the gears so easily. It's brilliant. It's just so perfectly weighted. It's a long stick on there, but it just puts it in the right position for your hand there. Why are you creaking? Thanks to the low belt line and the low scuttle and the thin ABC posts, you've got great visibility out of this car as well. So you've got an amazing all-round view of what's going on, so you can really appreciate what's happening around you and get the most out of the car. You do sit surprisingly high up in these seats, but it does feel very much like you are sitting in a 205 GTI, even though I think suspension may be a little bit taller as well. But these bucket seats, these square, angular deck chair fabric, padded hard in the centre, soft in the bolster, and they do feel for all the world like a GTI seat. These seats do feel for all the world like you're in a GTI. And you've got to love this amazing, well, it's a bit plasticky, but that's how Peugeots were at the day. Plastic, triangly patterned, they're half a pyramid thing that they've got going on just here. And these big golf ball stipples in all the things to give you like a tactile area to touch. Right, so let's take a quick look around the interior of the 205 GT. And it really is Well, it's 205 GTI Lite, it really is. Check out these seats, they are absolutely amazing. These very angular, square bucket seats, they are pure 1980s nostalgia with stripes, basically. The red, the grey, the white, the black. This is every 1980s teenager's MFI bedroom furniture in a comfy chair. You've got the same fabric over here on the door cards. Typically French and it feels a little bit flimsy, but it is in absolutely amazing condition. You've got a fairly chunky grip, you've got a big door pocket, wind up windows, little tiny plastic door pull, only 2 speakers here in the front, and these are not microphones, these are your wagglers for your mirrors. Actually it's made of metal, that's the only metal part in the door furniture. Moving inside, we've got a very angular dashboard with a little tea trough down here rather than a tea shelf, with a tea trough. There's some fairly exuberant cornering can be done on one of these cars, so a cup of tea is going to fall off, so pour your tea in there, drink it with a straw. That's my advice here. Up top we've got a little blanking plate here. I think a clock goes there on some models. This one has got a little storage area for coins because the 80s. Big air vents, 3 nicely lined up dials for your heating and ventilation, can't miss them, and these big drum buttons for your fog lights, rear screen heater and hazard lights. And with the same pattern on it here, you've got the ashtray and 12 volts in there, little clock down there, and check out this beautiful Peugeot branded Clarion radio. Is it radio cassette as well? No, it is just a radio and nothing else, with anti-theft system, which I assume means that this little panel here pops out somehow. Underneath that we've got a blanking plate which might open on other cars, little trough for pens and things, and a 5-speed manual gearbox, lift to reverse, and the whole thing is lovely and snickety and lovely and mechanical feeling. Lifting back up again, we have a nice flat-topped instrument binnacle, inside of which we've got 6 dials. Well, I say 6 dials, we've got 4 dials and 2 big warning lights, oil warning light, water warning lights, then we've got fuel, temperature, speedometer up to 130, and a rev counter redlining at 6,000 RPM. Moving back, we've got a large plinth area. This is like a takeoff and landing area. I often liken the interior of 80s Peugeots to the set design of Blade Runner, and this is no exception. This big flat plinth looks like it should be on some of the buildings in the city. Just down below that we've got these drum-shaped switches for our lights. Oh, the car's going to blow! There's also our indicators and our horn. Oh, that's a excited Parisian pop. Get out of my parking bay. The wipers are on the right hand side with another little drum shaped twisty thing. Twist and click. And heading back, check out this steering wheel, pre-airbag of course, and it's a squishy rubbery material. It's kind of a semi-deep dish and it looks absolutely glorious with a lion in the center just there in this textured area here. The stipples coming out actually, rather stippled in on these buttons over here, stippled out on these buttons over here. But very attractive, very sporty feeling. It does feel like you're at the helm of some kind of rally car or club racer or something in this thing. Think of the Peugeot 106 Rally, but with a few more creature comforts when you imagine this car. Down to the right we have got a surprisingly deep area for whatever you want to stick down there in that area. A manual choke though is concealed on here. Because this is the carburetted version, no fuel injection, you do still have an actual choke. Same little dimples as on the other buttons. But how cool is that? Up top we have got a manual sunroof. I don't know if this is factory or aftermarket because these things did get fitted a lot by brave people who took a jigsaw to the roof of a brand new car. Little rockable light switch. Perhaps too many doors, perhaps the perfect number of doors, you tell me. My Peugeot loves unleaded petrol. I can't really love much else these days. So step inside, we have got a nice big door opening, so it's very easy to get into. Oh, you sink so low into these squishy seats. The front seats are really quite firmly padded. These are the absolute opposite. These are so French. If you ever sat in a Peugeot 505 or something, this is exactly like that. Wow, it's loads of legroom as well, loads of headroom, really good place to be. But interestingly, a 50-50 split on the back, so you can fold this down. And we come around the back, we have got an enormous boot. I mean, absolutely vast boot space in this car. Very useful indeed. If you were, say, I don't know, a young driver struggling to get insurance on a 1.9 or even a 1.6 litre GTI, this would be absolutely perfect. If you wanted to make sure you didn't fall foul of speeding tickets too easily, again, this would be right up your street, because you've been doing 50 miles an hour, which is the limit around here, and it feels like you're absolutely flying along. You drop a gear, nail it through the corner, and the thing just flows through, and it's so much fun. The steering is just astonishingly direct. There's not too many turns lock to lock, and it just goes exactly where you want it to go. It's absolutely amazing. I'm going to do this roundabout twice as well, because that is just an absolute hoot. I think it's going to jump in front of me. Yes, he is. Here we go. Yay! This is all of the fun in the fair. Love it. It leans a bit, but it grips like crazy. The controls are just so direct. The pedals are shockingly light. They really are. You have to be careful not to over-rev it when you first get into the car for the first time. It's amazing, and the clutch is like no weight to it at all. Fortunately, the brakes, I'll give you a sudden stop. Oh, I think it's discs at the front and drums at the back. I could have locked it up quite easily there, but decided not to. I hope you've enjoyed this ride out in this absolutely amazing little time warp 50,000 mile 205. If you've not driven a sporting 205, you really need to, because there is really nothing else quite like them. They're so much fun. It doesn't even need to be the full fat GTI, because this just goes to show what an entertaining drive the more basic ones can be as well, with a bit of a sporting breath on them. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, please, as always, hit like and subscribe, and join me again next time driving something completely different.